Hi, welcome to Dig Into China. I'm Dong Shong. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy what you see, don't forget to hit the like button, share with your friends, and subscribe. Your support means the world and plays a crucial role in the YouTube algorithm. Liking, sharing, and subscribing not only show your support, but also help YouTube recommend my videos to a broader audience. Thank you very much. A recent diplomatic conflict has risen once again between China and India, drawing considerable attention. On March 2nd, Indian authorities announced the seizure of a Chinese container ship destined for the port of Karachi in Pakistan. The detained vessel, named CMA CGM Attila, bears Maltese flag. During the inspection of the cargo on board, Indian Customs identified an Italian-made computer numerical control machine renowned for its precision and efficiency. This machine has become a point of interest in ongoing dispute. As reported by the Tribune and WION TV in India, customs officials acted on intelligence to intercept the cargo ship on January 23rd. According to statements from Indian officials, a team from the Defense Research and Development Organization (DRDO) examined the machine and verified its potential association with Pakistan's nuclear weapons program. The focus was on its role in producing essential components for missiles. Officials stressed that seizing the cargo was a preventive measure against potential proliferation between China and Pakistan. The computer numerical controller falls under the regulations of the Western Arrangement on Export Controls for Conventional Arms and Dual-Use Goods and Technologies, established in 1996, with India being a signatory. North Korea has also incorporated computer numerical controllers into its nuclear weapons program. According to the bill of lading accompanying documents, the shippers is identified as Shanghai JXE Global Logistics Corporation, and the recipient is Pakistan Wind PVT, based in Sialkot. However, a thorough investigation by security personnel uncovered that the true sender of the shipment is Taiyuan Mining Import and Export Company, with the actual receiver being the Cosmic Engineering Company in Pakistan, an entity involved in defense supplies. The Cosmic Engineering Company has been under surveillance by Indian authorities since March 12, 2022. When a shipment of Italian-manufactured thermal imaging device bound for Pakistan was intercepted and confiscated in Mumbai's Nhava Sheva port. This event has garnered significant attention in the Indian media, leading to a strong condemnation from the Indian government towards China. In contrast, official Chinese media has chosen to remain silent, potentially reflecting the defensive stance of the Chinese Communist Party. The unfolding developments in how both China and India address this issue will require continued observation. There is an observed trend where the Chinese Communist Party tends to show a more cautious approach when dealing with India. In instances of border dispute between China and India, it has been noted that the CCP often ends up making concessions and compromises, such as in the case of the Pangong Lake region. While China used to have administrative control over a certain segment of the area, the current jurisdiction has now entirely shifted to India, indicating practical control by the Indian side. It has been stated that China no longer exercises authority of Pangong Lake. The question at hand revolves around the observation that among the nations engaging with the Chinese Communist Party, India stands out as particularly assertive contrary to appearance. It's not just that the United States, even many Western countries tend to pursue a policy of appeasement when dealing with the CCP. Notably, figures like the outspoken Donald Trump, while publicly displaying firmness, were involved in ongoing negotiations and discussions with the CCP. This pattern appears to persist under the current leadership of Joe Biden, where the approach to handling matters related to China seems characterized by a certain level of indecision. Why does this happen? Why is India, not particularly dominant in terms of power, taking such a strong stance against the Chinese Communist Party, even to the point of being ready to engage in conflict, steadfastly refusing to give in, ultimately leading to the CCP's retreat? This scenario serves as proof that the CCP is not as formidable as it appears, especially evident in the significant concessions the CCP has made in the China-India border dispute. This presents a compelling phenomenon on the global stage deserving of our attention. Here are my takeaways. To begin with, India has indisputably attained the status of a major power. As of this year, India has surpassed China in population, claiming the title of the world's most populous nation, an evident reflection of its national prowess. In contrast, China is currently experiencing a population decline. Both China and India are grappling with the challenges of an aging population, but China's aging process is advancing at a more rapid pace. According to a United Nations report, the projections indicate that by 2040, the population aged 65 and above in China will exceed those aged 25 and below, reaching 30% of the total population by 2025. Conversely, India's ratio of elderly to working age population is anticipated to remain lower than that of China in the forthcoming decades. By 2040, individuals aged 65 and above are predicted to constitute 12% of India's total population, gradually rising to 15% by 2050. Concurrently, the population aged 25 and below is expected to maintain around 1/3 of the total population. India's continually expanding population establishes it as the sole nation possessing a significant workforce capable of challenging China's preeminent position as the world's factory. Nevertheless, the United Nations underscores the imperative for India to invest in education and enhance employment opportunities for its younger generation to fully exploit this advantage. Secondly, considering the economic aspect, although China presently holds the position of the world's second-largest economy, it is undergoing a swift descent. Conversely, India is currently on an ascending path, with forecasts suggesting it might overtake China as the world's second-largest economy in the coming decade. Should China's economic downturn prove irreversible, India's ascension could occur at an even swifter pace. The strength of the economy is also reflected in the strength of defense capabilities. Thirdly, agriculture plays a crucial role in the context of both China and India being populous nations. It's not sufficient to solely consider their industrial sectors. The agricultural aspect is equally vital. In the event of a war which is likely to be prolonged and resource-intensive, even with advanced industrial capabilities, steel cannot serve as a substitute for sustenance. Food supply becomes a pivotal factor for maintaining stability during wartime. For vast countries like China and India, the outbreak of war would immediately elevate the importance of addressing food supply concerns as a top priority. Without adequate food for the general populace, sustaining mobilization efforts for the war becomes a formidable challenge for the nation. Regarding agriculture, India presents a stark contrast to China. China currently grapples with a shortage of domestically produced food and heavily depends on imports. In contrast, despite its substantial population, India has made commendable progress in agricultural development, ensuring not only sufficient domestic food supply but also enabling food exports. Therefore, considering the aspect of food security, India is not just self-reliant but also less hesitant about entering into conflicts, especially with China. The overall national strength of India now stands relatively close to that of China, diminishing the perceived disparity between the two nations. In the realm of military capabilities, India stands as the unequivocal leader in South Asia. Assessing China's proclaimed military strength remains challenging as direct confrontations have yet to occur, and both nations engage in rhetorical exchanges regarding their military capabilities. Examining the defense industry, India holds a commendable position. India had aircraft carriers early on, while China has recently launched only 2. The Indian Navy is on par with China's, and when it comes to the air and land forces, India's status as a member of the Commonwealth grants access to NATO weaponry. Moreover, historical ties with the Soviet Union enable India to possess advanced Russian-made weaponry. With a diverse arsenal that includes systems from both Western and Russian sources along with domestically developed weapons, India is well equipped. The Indian Navy showcased its 2 aircraft carriers, the Russian-origin INS Vikramaditya and the locally built INS Vikrant, during the end of February and into March. In March, both carriers executed simultaneous launches of MiG-29K fighters from their decks. During the launches, the INS Vikramaditya also hosted the initial segment of the Indian Navy's biannual Naval Commanders Conference. The Indian Navy has played an active role in the Red Sea in recent months as Houthis continue to target cargo vessels. On March 6, the Indian Navy rescued MV True Confidence, a Barbados-flagged and Greek-operated merchant vessel, which was targeted in a ballistic missile attack by Houthis. In terms of military strength, India possesses the capability to stand up against China. The 5 aspects mentioned above encompass fundamental elements at the national level, focusing on hardware and hard power. In terms of soft power, India is equal to, if not surpassing, China. India currently stands as the world's largest democratic nation, driven by its massive population. Despite the gradual pace of democratic development, India's democratic process is robust and steadily advancing. Since the ascent of Narendra Modi, numerous effective initiatives have been implemented. I firmly believe that the strength of a democratic nation, once mobilized, surpassed that of authoritarian regimes. Democratic countries generally reflect the consensus of the entire populace, maintaining a continuous and resilient momentum. On the other hand, authoritarian states rely on the will of a single leader, and if that leader is overthrown or makes misguided decisions, the fate of the entire nation is jeopardized. Therefore, in terms of national systems, India holds a superior position compared to China. On the international diplomatic stage, Modi exhibits no fear of Xi Jinping. What accounts for this? Firstly, Modi is an elected prime minister, obligated to answer to the electorate. Moreover, India has been steadfastly advancing its anti-corruption initiatives in recent years, with officials mandated to disclose their personal wealth. Although corruption persists among Indian officials, there is a discernible rise in the integrity index. Media coverage highlights Modi's reputation as a prime minister known for its commitment to integrity. Modi maintains a principled stance with no personal interests tied to the Chinese Communist Party. Consequently, when addressing CCP-related issues, he exhibits a determined approach. The adage, "without desire, one remains steadfast," is fitting here. In contrast, leaders from the United States and the West approach CCP dealings cautiously due to intricate ties between themselves, all the interest groups they represent, and the CCP. This complexity prompts them to leave room for negotiation when dealing with the CCP. However, Modi is unburdened by such considerations. He harbors no personal expectations from the CCP. Therefore, in navigating this relationship, he prioritizes the nation's interests over personal concerns. This distinction underscores Modi's resolute approach in handling such matters. India's lack of fear towards China stems from various factors, and the aspects I have highlighted are just a few notable conditions. If you have thoughts to share or wish to add to the discussion, feel free to leave a comment expressing your viewpoint. I'm optimistic about India's future, and that this sentiment extends beyond the geopolitical considerations to encompass cultural developments. In recent years, India films and media have delved into a profound analysis of their societal issues. A nation or people willing to address their own shortcomings signals not only courage but also the potential for meaningful progress. Watching today's Indian movie reminded me of the 1980s when I was young. At that time, China was in a similar situation. A large group of idealistic young people hoped to change society. That was the hope of the nation. When I think back to the 1980s when I was studying, it was a decade of relatively open-minded thinking in Chinese society. During my time from high school to university, there was a strong desire to contribute to the country because of the open atmosphere of thoughts and the spirit of reform and opening up. People had a sense of upward vitality throughout the nation, which was the driving force for the country's progress. It's not like now, where the country is being shrouded in a haze by the Communist Party of China, and there seems to be no hope. In conclusion, the factors contributing to India's lack of fear towards China encompass a blend of strategic, political, and cultural elements. From a robust democratic system, strong military capabilities, and principled leadership under Prime Minister Modi, to a vibrant cultural landscape reflected in films that address societal issues, India stands resilient. These aspects collectively shape a nation unafraid to confront challenges head-on and work towards a hopeful future. Comparisons with historical parallels such as the open-minded atmosphere of 1980s China underscore the importance of visionary leadership and a society willing to address its own shortcomings. As the geopolitical landscape evolves, India's multifaceted strength positions it as a nation with the potential to enduring progress. Thank you for watching. Please like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.